both players, well, actually, this is the pair up. Sam Black with Lantern winning game 1. He's 10-4. Austin Collins, he figures in with a win. Sam's going to need to win and do more. So we do not have a Lantern of Insight in play, but we do have on Sam's side Ensnaring Bridge with a Welding Jar to protect it.
And Austin has a Liliana of the Veil. Sam's deck generally doesn't care too much about that until it gets to 6. So we'll find out if Sam can assemble a Pithing Needle on time. That's usually how you're going to answer Liliana of the Veil.
Right. So right now, Sam is down to 13. And it looks like Austin's put himself to 2. That's still reasonably safe.
Yeah, so some builds of Lantern play Pyrite Spellbomb. I don't think that Sam is on that. He does have one?
He does have one. He does have one.
Well, that's an out.
Sam's going to cast Ancient Stirrings. So, yeah, so right now, Sam's hiding behind this Ensnaring Bridge Welding Jar. He's got 2 Shredders and a Graft Digger's Cage.
Resolving Ancient Stirrings, and this is 4 lands and a Search for Azcanta they can't grab. That's one of the worst Ancient Stirrings I've ever seen in my life.
I've cast a worse one. I cast it when there was a Painter Servant on the board. That was worse. I tried to take a card, and this was even on, you can find this on YouTube. My opponent informed me that none of my cards were colorless.
That is a fantastic story.
And then I won anyway. I'm sure they...
Well,
I played perfectly.
Your opponent did register Painter Servant in Modern. That's
Mill
a choice.
for 2.
It's a choice you can make. The other bad thing off the top, another Botanical Sanctum for Sam Black.
Now Liliana's at 6, so Austin's threatening a Liliana Ultimate here.
Sam kind of really just needed Pithing Needle right now.
Yeah. On the Grixis side, do you wait a turn to keep the Liliana, or do you Ultimate it right?
Liliana's really bad, so I'm kind of fine.
And his choice is a bridge versus everything.
You can toss something with the bridge. But whatever.
And it's sacrifice, so Welding Jar's no good here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, does Sam just have to pick the bridge? There is 13 power in play. And Sam's going to try to Welding Jar the bridge. We see Kolaghan's Command, getting back Street Wraith.
Destroying the bridge in response.
Sure. But this is a lethal attack, right?
Yeah, Sam's just kind of looking. Is there anything he can shred back?
Yeah, nothing he can do, so we're going to go to a 3rd game. Now, Ryan, I do want to ask a couple questions about sideboarding here. We saw Graft Digger's Cage in play by Sam. That's just for Snapcaster Mage, right?
As far as I know, yeah. One thing about the Lantern deck is you end up putting a number of low-impact cards, and just because of the power of Kolaghan's Command Snapcaster Mage, it's totally reasonable to have access to that card.
Kolaghan's Command's a very scary card for the Lantern deck.
Yes.
And I do like Austin in that match as well, the way he played that to get exact lethal set up. So we're going to get the entirety of Game 3, Sam Black versus Austin Collins. We'll be back with that in just a minute. So for Game 3, Sam Black versus Austin Collins, Sam will be on the play. With a deck like Lantern Control against a 3-color deck, you have to figure matchups will get harder post-board, just in general, and this is no exception.
Yeah, all these 3-color control-y decks, they have some number of removal spells. They're going to be blank in Game 1. That compound that with the fact that you control their draw step, pretty easy to put them in a position where they can't do anything. Post sideboard, their deck just gets a lot better. It gets a lot tougher.
Looks like a mulligan here for Sam. Now, Lantern Control is a deck that can be pretty aggressive with its mulligans. With cards that are high synergy but such low impact, the quantity isn't the main reason you keep a hand.
Right.
Like, oh, this hand's down it's one less bell than a 7-card hand. It's probably fine.
One of my favorite things about this specific matchup, Grixis Death Shadow specifically, because of Street Wraith is one of the reasons that I really like this particular 3-color deck against Lantern Control as a matchup. Another very interesting card is Thought Scour, because sometimes you put the Lantern Control player in a position where they have to Academy Ruins back their Ensnaring Bridge to still be in the game, and you just Thought Scour them in their upkeep.
Sure.
It's so good.
And we are seeing some Grixis Shadow players playing Opt and Thought Scour as a split. Where we have Austin this weekend.
4 Thought Scour, 0 Opt.
Just 3 more players to begin our 3 o'clock sealed.
I'm really a big fan of Opt in the blue X control decks. It makes less sense in Grixis Shadow. This is a 4 Delve creature deck. You kind of set up your Snapcaster Mage Kolaghan's command engine with Thought Scour. So Thought Scour just makes a lot of sense in this deck.
Sam looks over the opening hand. Not particularly happy with it.
I believe Sam already on 1 mulligan.
Yep. He is still, though, 6-0 in Modern in the tournament. I figure he knows Modern fairly well. It's going to mulligan to 5.
There's some 5-card hands that can certainly win games.
Sure. And sometimes if you have a quick Ensnaring Bridge, 5 cards are better.
It's really tough for any of the creatures in the Death Shadow deck to get under a bridge. Sometimes
Ever.
Snapcaster Mage.
I suppose when your Death Shadow's an 11-11, it's usually just can't attack.
How many cards in hand? Oh, fewer than 10.
All right, here go. I mentioned this is a pair down for Austin Collins. With the win, he'll improve to 12-3, which we believe is locked for top 8.
One of the other amusing decks to watch play against Lantern is Affinity, because they present some 0-power creatures, and that can make things all kinds of weird.
I always like that. They can do tricks like attack with Signal Pest and then black put cranial plating on it.
Right, or just Signal Pest Ornithopter.
Get in there for some Battle Cry. Hit Lantern opponents before with some plant tokens. And Sam choosing to keep his 5-card hand. His turn 1 play is to... Oh, Sam was telling me about this, and this is really interesting. So Lantern Control is not a deck that utilizes the play. It's an A+B deck. So he's actually said that in about 1/3 of matchups in Modern, Sam actually chooses the draw.
Sure, I'm into it.
Much like 8-Rack always does. And this is a matchup he said against 3-color fair decks. He frequently chooses to draw. So the reason we're seeing Austin go first is that Sam's going second by choice.
Yeah, I've taken the draw on a lot of blue-red X matchups in Modern. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, he said that part of the online community with Lantern players, this was a data scraping innovation.
This is a fun innovation here. Austin stride to the top of the Serum Visions, and Sam
shredded
it aggressively. Got a ceremonious rejection.
So what happens, there's a collection of players, and I don't have all the names of them, but it was logging large amounts of Lantern data, and they started looking at win percentages when they're on the play versus draw, and slowly developed a strategy of there is a much larger number of matchups that they're actually winning more on the draw.
Sure.
We see another Serum Visions from Austin, but those Codex Shredders really mess with that.
You see Austin safely cracking fetch lands and shocking. He's down to 14 off his first 2 land drops. No real concern of Sam doing much damage to him.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that once we see a Lantern of Insight in play, Austin needs to use those fetch lands as resources, ways to reset his deck.
So there's plenty more where that came from. This deck plays, how many are we on? 11 fetch lands?
For Sam, it's going to be a Lantern of Insight. All right, he's got the 2 pieces from his 5-card hand.
Combos online.
Yeah, lands on top for both players. And Sam will say go. Thought Scour on top for Austin Collins as he draws the Bloodstained Mire. And now what I'm interested in is what Sam is going to value here. What are the things he's going to try to keep Austin off of?
Yeah, when you only have one shredder, it's a little bit tough. There's not very much that you can shred on your own turn.
Right.
You generally have to save it to activate on your opponent's turn, just so you don't accidentally let a Kolaghan's Command or a Snapcaster Mage slip through.
Yeah, certainly Snapcaster Mage is never allowed.
There's a lot of small things you fight over if you have multiple Bell or Shredder effects. For example, Austin previously had a Thought Scour on top of his deck before he shuffled, and that's one of the ones you kind of want to flip away just because it can draw a card at instant speed.
Austin will make Death Shadow here. But yeah, the biggest hits, the Kolaghan's Command and Snapcaster Mages, those are the ones that you really can never let them have.
Right.
With only one control, that might be what Sam has to hold on for. He is going to make Ensnaring Bridge.
Ooh, and no counterspell for Austin.
No. We saw one Samurai's Rejection get milled. 2 cards in Sam's hand, so the Shadow can attack once here, but that's not what's important. Austin's going to have to remove the bridge to win.
I really hope Austin wasn't holding a Snapcaster Mage when he cast that Death Shadow. He would love to have countered this Ensnaring Bridge.
Sure. And we're going to see Liliana the Last Hope.
This
from
card's
Austin Collins.
Pretty good against the Lantern deck.
Yeah, well,
You
Sam...
just have to not get needled.
Yeah, we don't have to... It's because of the -2, though, right? Sam actually can let it ultimate. That's fine.
Yeah, the ultimate's nothing. The ability to rebuy Snapcaster Mage is very powerful.
Sure, you -2, you mill Snapcast Mages, and you just start putting them in your hand.
Yes.
That's really unstoppable for the Lantern deck. And we see this is a nice sequence to get some extra damage. Austin attacks. It's a 2/2 and it attacks. Then he's going to fetch Shock. So it looks like Sam will take 5.
Yep.
Looks like Sam Black's hand, Codex, Shredder, and a land. So I guess what next up for Sam is what? He needs to find a Pithing Needle?
Needle for Liliana is good. Getting Welding Jar online to protect the bridge. You want some things like that, redundant bridge effects.
I'm a little worried that Welding Jar is not good enough. If this Liliana just keeps -2ing, the Snapcasters and Kolaghan's Commands should overpower Welding Jar eventually.
Yeah, depending on what comes up here for Austin, you might need as many as 3 or more redundant bridge effects.
But on the end step there, Sam milled Austin, not himself, which suggests he likes where things are. And now he's in Inquisition of Kozilek, and it looks like Austin did have a Snapcaster Mage. So his hand is Snapcaster Mage, Teamer Battle Rage, Gurmag Angler, Disdainful Stroke.
Gotta say, it feels like casting the Shadow when he did was a mistake, given that Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, it allowed the Ensnaring Bridge to land.
Right, yeah, because that rejection was milled in the early turns, he had access to that.
Yeah. Now, Sam, he has to take the Snapcaster Mage, right?
Yeah.
I know it's going to come back, and that stinks. I guess Disdainful Stroke is the one card that cannot be rebought, and maybe for that reason Sam takes it.
It puts his Whir of Inventions back online. That's the only card that the Stroke can catch.
Sure. Yeah, can catch a Whir of Invention. It can cast the Witchbane Orb, but that's likely not in the deck anymore. It can catch Tezzeret.
Yeah. I'm not sure that this is a matchup where they bring in Tezzeret. Maybe it is.
Yeah, last game Austin saw a Tezzeret, so unless Sam's reboarded, they should be live.
Gotcha.
You would like to be that one person to play this $20 6-pack Mixalon.
We go over to Austin.
Please make your way to the side event registration.
We know he has Snapcaster Mage, Teamer Battle Rage, Gurmag Angler. Start with a -2 from Liliana. Street Wraith, put into the graveyard, and Austin will take that one. And that's another Snapcaster Mage on top of the deck, so Sam's going to Codex Shred that one. And Austin, in response, will Street Wraith to snag it away. So now 2 Snapcasters in Austin's hand. And Stubborn Denial on top. This is like why I was thinking it's a difficult matchup for Lantern is you see then he draws this, the Stubborn Denial gets milled, and oh look, there's a Kolaghan's Command under it. This is really difficult. There's too many things Sam has to be milling right now.
Right, you have to do something about that command.
Yeah, but there's 2 Snapcasters in Austin.
You have to start actually denying Austin his 5th land drop. Once you see that one online. Then you can produce a Pixis of Pandemonium. You can exile the Kolaghan's command.
Yeah, and that's great.
That is time.
One thing about Death Shadow versus other builds of Grixis is Austin only has 1 copy of Lightning Bolt.
Okay.
So it's a little bit harder to leverage your Snapcaster mages. Though once you get access to Kolaghan's command, that's generally a lot better than the Lightning Bolts. Having some of those chip shots, that can matter a lot, though.
And that clock up at the top is the round time for both players here, and that's going to become an issue.
Got to figure that a draw for Sam Black would kill him for top 8.
Yeah, and Austin would be pretty happy to take a draw. He'd much prefer a win.
Right.
I guess not happy to take a draw. It's fine.
Not terribly disappointed.
Yeah.
We're seeing a Whir of Invention here happening.
Yeah. This is a Snapcaster Mage targeting Stubborn Denial, and then Sam, while that's in play, is going to go ahead and Whir of Invention. And Thought Scour for Austin. It looks like he's going to Thought Scour Sam off the Thoughtseize. And he'll draw the Kolaghan's command. Okay. I do like that. Sam asks if the Whir of Invention's okay. And my guess is before Austin got the Kolaghan's command in his hand, and actually Sam still might just get Grafdigger's Cage. That shuts off the Snapcasters. He still has 1 Welding Jar to protect from the Kolaghan's command, and yeah, that will be the play. Sam gets Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful here.
1 blue floating for Austin, but that clock is ticking away, and you know, Sam Black's Lantern deck doesn't really have the closing speed to win here.
And this build of Death Shadow is on only 2 Kolaghan's command, so not very heavy access to that. No sideboard engineered explosives either. Those are typically the tools you would have available in a Grixis deck for actually dealing with artifacts on the battlefield.
Under a minute to play as we go back to Austin Collins' turn. Sam, thanks to a well-timed Whir of Invention, it looks like for now has gained control of the board, but we'll see whether or not he can convert it into a win. He'll mill. He's going to start going to mill. He'll mill the Stubborn Denial off the deck for Austin. Top card is Ceremonious Rejection. I feel like that one has to get countered too. Sam draws a bauble. Welding Jar waits on top.
When you have this much set up already, it's possible you're just fine with the rejection, and you really just have to specifically fade another Kolaghan's command.
I think during draw step, Austin's holding priority. He wants to get that bauble from Sam. So it's going to be destroy an artifact and discard a card. Now, he can pick whatever artifact he wants. He'll likely get the Welding Jar. Looks like he does. But Sam will lose 2 cards, still a 2-for-1.
Yeah. Targeted the cage, because if you hit the cage, then you have access to Snapcaster Kolaghan's command. So yeah, just going to get the jar.
And Sam says go. Allows Austin to draw Ceremonious Rejection. Sam, time was called during Sam's turn, so this is turn 1 for Austin Collins. And he knows he's close. It looks like we're headed to a draw here. That will eliminate Sam Black if that result stands. Austin Collins then will drop to 11-3-1. He will face a win and in next round. Cash uses his Liliana, gets a Street Wraith. Liliana is down. This is the kind of thing where if we were playing untimed, Austin wouldn't have gotten rid of that Liliana.
No, he would have spent this turn plussing and then maybe minus on the following turn.
Right. With so few turns left, you don't need to play for the future. It doesn't exist. Turn 2 for Sam. Top card Tezzeret. Okay, that actually is perhaps a way that Sam can win.
If he could build up to an ultimate, Austin's put himself to 6.
Yeah, no, the issue is that Sam's next turn is turn 4. Tezzeret can't ultimate. It looks like Sam's going to would present lethal on turn 6 of extra turns. Now that turn doesn't exist. It's very close. And Austin, a cycle Street Wraith down to 4. Now that Austin's at 4, Tezzeret minusing would be lethal, but there will be blockers on Austin's side. So Sam has, and actually Thought Scour knocks the Tezzeret off the top of Sam's deck. He says go. Sam gets one more turn. He'll mill the Glimmer Void off. You always feel some justice when the Lantern of Insight allows someone else to mill their good cards. Yeah. Like with that Thought Scour thing. Like,
see, it's symmetrical.
Yeah. Like, hey, let them know how it feels.
Austin just needs that second Kolaghan's Command off the top here against an active Shredder. I just don't see how you set that up.
Yeah, so untimed, you think Sam's going to get this.
Right.
But it is not untimed. We are on Sam's final turn here. Top card, another Snapcaster for Austin. And turn 5 is Austin's. So, passes. And I believe that's going to be the end of the match. So a draw for Austin Collins and Sam Black, as neither player is able to win during time. We'll let you know when we update from the judges and the rounds, the events, what the conclusion is and what that means for each player as we go into the last round. But big news, though, we still had Rio in our first match, our mono red player, our youngest ever invitational player to make a top 8.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to cover him on Sunday. Great job by Rio.
So Rio Trevathan, congratulations. We know Gerard Fabiano also in the top, going to be top 8. Benjamin Nikolic in the top 8. And we actually do have a result here. The result was Austin, recognizing he was locked, did issue a concession to Sam Black in that game.